Hi guys, it is Belle here and it is time for day 9 of this year's Defember, hosted by Louise Heinzel and Barbara over at 49 Dragonflies. As always, their channels will be linked below, but I'm sure you follow them already. And don't forget, I will be using bits sent to me by the wonderful Tiff over at Amethyst Raven. Again, I will leave her channel linked down below, and if you haven't seen it yet, do go and watch the unboxing. We sent each other some snacks and stash this year. So this one, the prompt is altered envelope and coffee mug stains. I had a few ideas, but before we get started, I'm going to open this week's snack. Tiff sent me some Starburst, and look, I'm a vegan, and I absolutely love Starburst, but I particularly love the strawberry or the blackcurrant ones. Can I even get into it? So I am going to get out a blackcurrant one and have it sitting on the side for when I need it. So today I was going to make, after loving the dangles yesterday, I was going to make another form of dangle with envelopes. But then I decided to just make life difficult for myself and make kind of like an over the page decoration / bookmark. Then I realized it actually says in a few days, actually in 2 days time, bookmark. But we're going to be able to use these as both. So I have these tiny little envelopes here. They are about 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. So 4 inches, 2 3/4 ish. 2 3/4, yeah. We're going to make 4 things. We need 2 envelopes per thing. However, the first thing we are going to do is pull up my sleeves, get my paint box over, and you can see I've got some vintage music paper in there, get me gloves on, and I am going to be putting these in here. And I think I want the first 2, 4 to have more of a vintage feel sort of thing, and the next ones I might want to add some black distress to, although we can start off with the same base, can't we? So like, let's put them all in here. I hope you can see. I mean, you know, you can see some of it. And inspired, we're going to do something else as well that was kind of inspired by something I saw Barbara do, because I thought, oh, I haven't added that kind of thing first. I'm going to add a little bit of water to all of these. I'm going to need it both sides, but for now we're going to do this. And I'm going to, I've got my vintage photo distress spray. Obviously, if you don't have sprays, you don't need to use sprays. You can use inks, you can use watercolours, you can use scrapbook paper. Like, you don't have to do this, obviously, but I really enjoy playing with inks. It makes me just feel super playful and creative. So I have limited inks though. So I always tend to use the same ones, but you know, that's okay too. And I actually think I'm going to come in with a little bit of walnut stain as well, which is an oxide, just to darken that up a little bit. And I'm going to add some water. These are going to take forever to dry. I think I actually have to add more water to my spray bottle. Oh, look at that funny. The fact that it's, we're going to have these patches, but those patches won't last for long. And we're just going to ink and spray and distress these up. And then on some of them, we might use a little bit of green. And on some of them, we're going to bring in some black. Because as I have been doing, I'm doing a mix of kind of naturey ones. Although I'm tending more towards the mushroom at the moment. Like nature with mushroom. And then I'm also doing a few little Gothic ones. So that's some forest moss. Yeah, let's bring some of that in to some of these. Just a little bit. I mean, it's quite light forest moss. I feel like I need a darker green next year too. Oh, that was a lot on that one. So actually, let's just pad that there. Yep. Just a little bit. I was trying to spray it with the lid on then. That's the thing to do, Belle. Spray it with the lid on. That'll work. Okay. And then, where is my black soot? Here. We're going to use the black soot. Oh, I need the ball. Come on. There it is. Spray a little bit of black soot on these. Not too much. I have to be careful. Again, most of these are distress oxides, which means they do kind of change colour a little bit and we get that oxidized feel to them. I'm just going to spray all of these. These are going to take forever to dry. But that's okay. Now, you will see I'm not doing the inside. And that is because... Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I just love the grunge you get off inks. I just really do. It's so messy and fun. And then we're just going to... I'm not doing the inside. And the reason for that is we're going to glue these envelopes shut. I mean, it said altered envelopes. So we're going to glue them shut. But whilst they're like this, I'm wondering also... No, we'll do the splattering afterwards, actually. It needs to shut a bit more. Let's do that ink. Why has that one gone like that? It's fine. Right, I am going to dry these off with my heat tool. So they are basically dry now, and I just want to show you. Look at that vintage music paper. Doesn't it look delicious? Can't wait to add more to that whilst it's drying. We have, look at these. Look how yummy they are. Just look. So these are the ones that are going to be the more nature ones. These ones. And then we have these yummy, delicious ones. I think some of them are stuck already. Yeah, that one is. That's okay. Don't want them all stuck. I think that one's stuck. Can I get it off? Right, I need... Maybe. Okay, well, their ones are going to be stuck, so I'll show you two different kind of ways that you can use them. Now, we do want at least, what's the word I'm looking for? We do want at least 4 of them definitely glued here. So, I'm just going to come on and anywhere there isn't some glue, glue that. So I want 4, so I'm going to do 2 of the, I really do need to keep these separate, 2 of the grungy kind of darker ones that are going to work for my Gothic, and these are going to be quite creepy, the images that I've picked for these ones. And then 2 of the other ones. Right, I do need though to just press all of these down. So that's what I need to do. This one's also like that, so we're just going to have to glue that one too. And then we're going to be cutting and doing all sorts. So these are my 2 for the front of that. That one's open, so that's good. That one's open, so that's good. This one's also open. I think I might glue this one down. That's got more. That's got more. What I was looking for is which one had more kind of distressing on the inside. This needs to be completely glued down. Let's turn this over and press this. Put my cloth. So yeah, I have so many of these little envelopes that I really just wanted to find a way to use them. Thinking about it, it probably shouldn't all be there. This is going to be interesting now, thinking about it. Oh well, we will make it work, because that is what we do. As I always say, we're creatives, so if we come up against an obstacle, then part of being creative is finding a way around that. So we have these two, and we have these two, and I want this bit, the bit that's the oh gosh, no words today will come. The envelope bit, the bit that normally opens, the flap, my goodness me, to the back. And what I want to do is, I think I want to trim the bottoms of these. So you will see why. I need to make sure they open. Yes, they do. Okay, perfect. So again, I'm just trying to keep them where they're supposed to be, because I definitely want the right colours as the right thing. So I'm just making sure that all opens. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do, so I have two die cuts. I have this smaller one, which we're going to use with this, and this one. And what we're going to do is I'm going to die cut the middle bit so that it goes all the way through, so that we have a window both sides for these. I actually had my starburst while I was doing that, and oh my goodness, those of you out there who like starbursts, when you eat them, don't they just make you salivate? I mean, they're just delicious. Okay, not only do I have those, but I now have all these fun little pieces, which I will be using at some point. These are all my Gothic ones. These, as you see, are smaller. Again, there is a reason for that. What I need to do before the next part is I need to come on and I need to ink the inside of here. Like so. Because I don't want any white showing there. So I'm using my ground espresso for the more naturey ones. They're both a bit Gothic-y. They're dark, they're grungy. It's my vibe, it's what I like. I just realised this one's a bit more off to the side, but you know what? I don't mind that. We will also ink around these once they are finished, but for now, we're doing that. And these ones I'm going to come on with the black soot and do exactly the same thing. Now, I know I've had quite a few new subscribers. Hello and welcome. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, whether you are new and have just found me, or whether you have been here for a long time. I know some of you have been here since the start. That's just crazy and like blows my mind, and I'm so grateful. But I'm grateful to each and every one of you. But one of the things I love to work with is I love to work with acetate and windows and tracing paper and things like that. It's just something I love. So we are going to do that with these pieces, guys, on this. We haven't even got to the second one yet, but that's going to be a bit simpler. But we are going to do that with this. So what I need to do is put some paper behind these. So what I have is some images. Now, for these ones, I made a few days ago. I was just playing before December even started. Oh my gosh, where's the others gone? Right, here they are. I made some of my leftover kind of tracing paper scraps, stamped pieces. I have a video on my channel of how I do, trying to see if I can find one, how I do the strips. This is a Halloween one, but I do these and I do them nature wise and things like that. I do have a video on it. I will leave that link down below. But I also had little scraps of vellum, so I wanted to also do some stamping on that. So I think we're going to use, let's do the mushrooms first. We're going to use the mushroom one. I'm just trying to work out what mushroom I want. I mean, this is the same stamp, but the rest of the collage, I think I like that one. Right, so we're going to do that. What I have to do now is, and this is why this bit shouldn't have been stuck down, but that's okay because it's not stuck down too badly. So I've got plenty of room for that, and we are going to stick these into here. Yeah, I got some room there. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to stick these into here. Now this should stick. Putting a little bit around, like so. This should stick. Right, I need to put this in. Right, this is the difficult one because it's not completely open on one side. Fingers and thumbs, fingers and thumbs. This would have been so much easier, wouldn't it, if that had been completely open. Okay, let me get that sorted. So that was a bit of a battle, but that's because that one was the one that I hadn't opened completely. But look at that now. Oh, I love it. And I've worked out one of the better things to do is not only to put glue on there, but I'm going to come in and just put glue on the bottom inside bit and hope that they don't stick together before I get my vellum in there, like so, and then is it that way? Yeah, that way is the writing. So a little bit on here, and then we're going to put this in here again, getting it into the sides. And the top, it's the top bit, although that was much easier because we had more space on the side and the bottom. I say that and now I'm still like, thankfully this tracing paper vellum stuff is quite thick, so as it's not too flimsy, I don't have to worry about it ripping. Perfect. And then I'm going to come in with my bone folder and just really squeeze those sides down. So you can now see those. Don't they look good? Oh, love them. Now for the next ones, the spooky ones, I have got some leftover images from Art House Whimsy. And yes, they are creepy. And that's okay. I need to work out where I'm going to cut these though. So I'm going to come in with a pen. Here we go. Because I need a bit of space, but I don't want the whole thing. Actually, I want more of the spooky guy in here. So let's do that. I love working with these Art House Whimsy images. I use them a lot, so I'll leave them linked down below. And I love printing them out on translucent because it just adds that extra spooky feel. I mean, those of you who've been around my channel a little while will know, especially if you follow during Creep on June and things like that, I do a lot of this kind of stuff. So just going to mark on here. I'm just going to mark about there. Yeah, about there should be okay. I'm not cutting any of the top of this one off. Right, creepy, creepy children. Okay, and again, I'm going to come in and I'm going to make sure these are open. Yes, that's nice. Let's make sure this one is too. And I'm going to do exactly like I did for the other ones, where I'm going to glue on the bottom layer and glue on the acetate itself. Okay, all us crafters make mistakes, and I forgot that this kind of translucency that I use for these doesn't take well to having glue on it, i.e. you have to be really careful it doesn't smear, and normally I am careful with that, but unfortunately I didn't get it through here quick enough for the envelope not to glue, and then it got a bit messy. So you can see there's actually glue marks on here, and I can't get those off because it will just rub off the piece. Now, I'm not too bothered, and that one will be for me, and I can put something over the top of that. This one went much better because I remembered that. So we have our creepies and we have our mushrooms. Now, the other thing I want to do, again, you guys don't have to do this. I am actually going to stitch around these ones, but I don't need to stitch around the mushrooms. But I'm also going to bring in a small magnet as well that I hope will work between all these pieces of card. I'm just going to try it out. I'm going to put this here, and then it's got paper behind it, and then I'm going to see if it will attach onto one there. Yes, okay, it will work. Brilliant. Because sometimes I use my larger magnets, but because I'm going to be stitching, there's no way I can use my larger magnets, and I have to be so careful where I'm going to put these magnets, because I'm going to stitch around here and I may also stitch around there. And so you have to really think about, if you're going to wear a magnet, if you're going to use a magnet, really think about where you're placing it if you're going to be doing that with stitching as well, and what kind of stitching. If it's a straight stitch, it's usually not too much of a problem, but if it's a zigzag stitch, well, that will be a problem. So I'm going to do that onto this one too, just here, because I want these to be able to stay over your page, and I want them to be able to work almost like an extra tuck spot, or like I said, a bookmark, or whatever they're going to do. And then in these mushroom ones, it's not so much of a problem, because whilst I might stitch around the outside, I'm not going to stitch around the mushroom itself because it doesn't need it. So that is then easier for me. Try not to have two magnets in your fingers at once, because otherwise it's not going to want to stick, is it? I mean, common sense, Belle, common sense. You don't have to use magnets. You don't actually have to put magnets on your make or any kind of closure on your make at all with this. You can have it so that it just sits on top. You could use Velcro dots depending on the size of those. Like, there might be something else you could come up with. I like using magnets, so that's what I'm using. So we have these pieces, and before we carry on with the fronts, I want to now turn to the backs. Now, this is basically going to be a piece like this that goes over your page. I'll have a tab on top. So this is the back piece. But I was wondering about actually being able to open this as well. And I'm wondering about stencils. Let me have a look. Let's get out this one because I've used this one already. I'm just going to use some ground espresso. You could ink up the inside of this as well. I obviously haven't, but you could do that. And don't forget, we still have coffee stains to do. So, you know, that'll work for that. Do I want them both to be open? Why not? Why not? Let's do a couple of different versions. Because even though this is mass make, I just can't make all the same thing. Because it's not a miniature. Okay, so these ones are going to open. which means I also have to think about this before stitching. And also we are going to need a magnet in here. So I am just very gently going to trim the bottom of these two. Just ever so gently, just a smidge. That's all that needs to come off, just so that they... Oh no, not that one, Belle. What are you doing? Okay, let me do this. So I've trimmed the bottoms of all those, and now we're going to add the magnets to the inside of these. Now this is easy because they're open, so I want to show you what I do. I'm going to just make sure that these match up and then use some sort of clip. I'm going to get the magnet. Got two. And I am going to let the magnet, I'm going to put it underneath. So this is in the bottom pocket. I'm going to put it underneath, but I'm going to let it attach. Did you hear that? It attach. Let me do that again so you can hear it. So I'm going to let it attach to the other magnet. Get a little bit of glue. Put it on the underside of the magnet. Press that down, undo, and then gently separate them. So we now have a magnet inside there that will match up with our other magnet. It takes a bit of time to get used to the technique. I've been using magnets for a couple of years now, so I'm just going to put some washi over it, because then that will keep that magnet in place. And then I'm going to come in, really press that actually down. I'm going to come in with my glue and go down this edge, because obviously we have trimmed that and we want it closed so that it becomes an envelope again. But this is now an envelope that attaches to each other. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to line these up, use a clip. We have the envelope bit. We're going to get the magnet. We're going to attach it, let it just click itself into place, like so. Glue on the bottom of the magnet, press that down, open this up. This bit you have to do gently. You have to separate them and keep this magnet still in place. So there is that. But as long as you do that, it will work. And then again, bring in a little bit of washi. I want to hold this one down because we will be putting, or when you use your journal, be putting something in and out of this pocket. So I don't want it really getting stuck on that magnet. So it's best to use some washi, but only washi on the bottom. You don't want to put washi bottom and top, because otherwise you reduce the size of your actual pocket. And again, I think this is the smaller one, isn't it? No, it must be this one. These now attach like so. I've already put magnets on these like so. So they've already got their magnets, but we're working on our mushrooms. Now we need to come in with, oh goodness me, I'll put the magnets to the side. Now I need to come in with some coffee stains. So I have my stencil. This stencil doesn't even have a number on it. It's one I've had for absolute ages. And I'm going to come in, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this up, but I'm going to use the white side, the other side. That's not it. Where is it? Oh my goodness, what have I done with them? We're going to use the white side because I don't want it getting on the embossing, getting on the other bit. And we're just going to come in and I'm going to use my Tim Holtz dauber. There are so many ways. This is going to put alcohol ink on my dauber. That's okay. on there, and then I'm going to put just a few kind of stains up here. There's so many ways you can do coffee stains, guys. You can literally have your coffee, dip it in some using vintage photo embossing actual coffee, and dip a circle in there and things, and then you have a stain. But as I don't drink coffee, I could do that with tea, but you're not going to quite get as dark a stain. That's not perfect on there, but it's okay. But there's so many ways. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do one on here too. Let's do a slightly different one. Let's do this one down here. So I kind of like this one. And again, I'm getting it on my dauber, but I can clean my dauber off, so I don't mind. Just pressing that down, all the little bits. And then again, I'm going to add some splotches up here. And you can use a stamp. You don't have to use a stencil. You don't have to use other things. You can use a stamp. Using this on here. Okay, that's cool. I like that. And I am going to do that to the spooky ones too. And I am going to heat emboss these. And I might do it slightly different on this side. So those are all done. What I would say is if you're using acetate like this, then do it beforehand. Do it before you put your acetate in, because obviously using a heat tool can make this move and everything. But if you've forgotten, like I had, make sure you've got your heat tool on a very high heat and just blast quickly in places. Don't have it sitting. Also, I had these covered and it was just a quick blast off to the edge with the heat not directed on the acetate, although this dude is really getting grunged up. But I love how this looks because it's the embossing. It almost gives it that wet look that you get with a coffee or tea stain. So I love, 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 love that. So we have these. Now, I want to do them all a bit differently. Not like the two different types I want to do differently. So with the mushroom ones, I again have this die cut that I thought would look really nice. I've used it on other pieces and I really love how that looks. And I'm trying to work out what colour I would like it in, because everything's quite grungy and I don't know if I want it all in that same colour. So I don't know about that. And then I want to decorate the front up a little bit, because we can have some labels and things like that. What I might do first is I might stitch around this, because I want this to be stitched. Do I want these stitched? I don't think so, but I'm going to go stitch around here, and with these ones I'm going to stitch around the acetate and then stitch around the outside. So I've come up with a solution for the frame that I was looking at. I pulled out some bits from Tiff, and I've decided we're going to decorate one of the mushroom ones and one of the Gothic ones on camera. Then I'll do the two others off camera and show you how they look. We'll see. But Tiff had some of this beautiful jelly plate paper that she has made, and I just backed it with some thicker card so that I've got now this and this one, and they're going to work so well on the mushrooms. I'll just ink around it a little bit, and it also makes it pop off the page a teensy bit. So yeah, let's do this and get this stuck down. And I realise I haven't told you where these are from. They're from a Tim Holtz die kit. I'm trying to make sure. Now, the piece that I used to actually cut out the middle of the mushroom, I'm not putting it on the back, was also from this die kit. And it is the Tim Holtz What's it called? It's called the Picture Show, the Vault Picture Show 666602, and I've used these 2 bits on there. So yeah, they've worked. The die I used for the spooky one, the Gothic one, that was from, I think it was just the generic die I had in my stash. If you don't have dies, that's not a problem. Cut out the size that you want to, that you want your image to be, and then draw around that on your piece and cut that out with either scissors or a craft knife. So you really do not need to have the dies. So we have those now on there. The next bit I want to do is on here. And so I pulled out, I'll show you in a minute, but I've made one of these and it's going to go on this. Now again, this was a lot of stuff that Tiff sent me, so that's good, because obviously that's part of, I think I've got this upside down. Oh no. Okay, how is this the trickiest bit for me to do? That's going to hold that envelope place in bit, but let me show you what I did. So I have a little bit of the packaging left from the beautiful lemon shortbreads, and I'm going to use that. This was actually from the packet itself. I'm just going to use my little punch to punch out a circle, because again I want these to have a little bit of weight to them. This is some paper that Tiff sent me too, but I realized with this one I made a bit of a not a mistake, but I didn't realize the vellum wasn't going to be quite as translucent as I was hoping for. I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going to stick that on there. I could have used more of that beautiful jelly plate print that Tiff sent me, but so Tiff sent me these 2 actual faux vellum wax seals, but I wanted some of the paper to show, and you don't really see it with that. Where are my small scissors? There they are. So I want to just cut around this a bit more as the wax seal. Now I love wax seals and I'm happy to use a real wax seal in a journal, but as Tiff sent these, I thought let's use what she has sent to put on here. If you heard that jingle, that is my cat. And I'm gonna attach it onto here. Oh dear. Kind of in the middle. This way we get a bit more of that paper around it. But I'm just going to ink anyway and kind of blend it a bit more with the background. Don't know why that needs a bit of trimming there. So that's brilliant. I've used part of the packaging from the lemon shortbread. I've used the paper. I've used these beautiful wax seals. I've used her jelly plate prints. I mean, we're on a roll. So we have those. Now what I want to do is on this side, on the inside, because these will be over a page like that, so you will see this one over the page. We're going to do it slightly differently with the other ones. I want to put a little bit of paper that you could actually write on. I have some of this in my stash. I also think I sent actually some to Tiff. It's just some vintage music paper that I've used a little bit of when I've been stenciling. I've used a little bit of the stencil, what was left, the ink on there. Now, you can write on this because you could use gesso. I mean, obviously you could just put tea stain paper, couldn't you? But I just think this adds, that needs to be ripped a little bit more. Yeah, so this is going to give you like a hidden writing space that you could write on, which again, if you've been here a while, you will know that is one of my most loved things to do. I want hidden secret writing spaces, magnets, flips, all that kind of thing. So that's going to go on that one. And then we're going to do this one as well. So just want to use these up. That'll be cute. And as I know, I've sent some of this to Tiff. I thought it was quite fun to use it on one of my makes as well. I don't know. I thought it worked that way. I'm so excited. I'm trying to pre-film some of these because my daughter is coming down for a few days. We have a Christmas tradition, we always do, and so she will be here in a few hours. And when she's down, I don't want to be filming or crafting or doing anything except spending some time with my daughter. Okay, so we have those on there, and now I'm going to decorate one of these and you'll get the kind of gist, and then I'll decorate the other one off camera. I have a load of little bits and pieces here that we can use. We don't need to decorate too much, but I also can't just have it like that. And I think I also want just a little bit of stamping. And I'm trying to work out, I think I want it, I don't think it's going to show up. So we're going to do one in a place where I know I'm going to put a bit of collage. And then if I don't like it, then I'll do it in black. But I feel like black's too strong. I will tell you what the stamp set is in a minute. I just want to see. I mean, yeah, that just shows up in the background. Can you see that? Actually, that's quite good, because I just want it as background kind of, I don't know, image and stuff. I might do flowers on that one. Right, let's stamp off on this. So this is the Botanical Lab Minis TFC 2513 by Tracy Fox. I also have the Tim Holtz ones that I might use as well, but as I grab these, and they've got some botanicals on them. Don't even know which way that's going to, it's that way. Again, it's about layering and textures in the background of a piece. You know, you don't always have to see everything, but it does actually add to the background. So that's what I want. It's a little bit of adding that. And I'm also thinking of coming on and adding a little bit of the floral. I need my bigger. Oh my goodness, where is it? Right, this one's too big, but this is the one I grabbed. So that's the one we're going for. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to use this on here. And what was the word I was looking for, guys? I need my bigger. That didn't really come out. Okay. It's not the stamp's fault. It's the fact that I have lots and lots of ink on here. That's much better. And I'm doing this in like a vintage sepia, you know. Acrylic block was the word I was looking for. Oh, I haven't put this on here because we don't obviously want to get it on the stamping piece. Like so. Obviously, I could do it all over the back as well and just bring on a little bit of something onto the background. I mean, it doesn't matter because that's just going to be over your page anyway, but sometimes it's nice to see some sort of decor in the background. It's taking too long to stamp things, but there we go. Yeah, that works well for me. Stamp this one off. This, obviously, my Defemberember is now my new stamp pad. What? So we've got that. I'm just wondering if I want anything else. Let's grab my Tim Holtz that are in quite an awful kind of, none of them are stuck. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. But that's okay. Add some numbers again. Oh my goodness me. I need to clean these. I'm a bad stamp mum. Oh yes, it just adds a little something in the background. I really hope that's picking up on camera. It's very dark here now. So I have my lights on, but if I'm honest, I prefer to film in daylight. I mean, I'm sure we all do. But yeah. Oh yes, that's a nice big number. I like that one. Sorry, I think I've said it before, but I've really got into my stamping this year. I never used to enjoy stamping as much because I always used to feel like, oh well, you need to be able to like colour and stuff, and I'm not very good at that. But actually, these kind of stamps, I mean, I've always liked the Tim Holtz ones, but the background ones and that are really good. Right, that is a mess. Let me tidy that. Okay, so we're going to decorate one front and back. That's that way. And then we will get on with the other ones. And I'm just thinking about bringing in a little bit of a collage. That would actually work down there. This is a piece Tiff sent me too. Tim? Who is Tim? What am I talking about? Sorry about that, Tiff. Who is Tim? So I'm going to glue this on here, onto the back, and then we'll get over to the Gothic ones. And then we've got to attach them. Oh, so much to do, so little time. So, yeah, I'm loving working with this. Again, I was sent this. I don't actually have much more. But that's okay. I'm glad I'm using it and not hoarding it, because I am very likely to hoard. I actually really like that on there. I was going to put it on there. It does actually match the kind of look of that, so I'm going to do it there, but I do want to add more there. Then we're going to attach these. We're going to bring them together. And yeah, I'm not going to make tags and things to go in the pocket. This is already taking too long. Sorry. Why to bring in a little bit of Tiff's thing, but I'm not sure that's going to work on there exactly. Could just do this and bring in a little flower. Oh yes. Decorating, that's where I'm at my happiest. I suppose that's the good thing about these pieces. If you are going to mass make a load, you then just can enjoy decorating them when you haven't got time to make the base, because I don't know, the bases are fun, don't get me wrong, but also it's the decorating that's the really fun bit. So that's the bit I think we all want to do the most. I feel like that'll fit on there quite nicely across there. Yep, I'm going to ink it because it's far too white. And I want everything grunge, like so. What would also be quite nice is, I think, a little bit of lace. Hold on. I know I have a little bit. So I think that'll work really well too. It's a little bit hanging down. And then glue again on here. It's got to go off over several levels. Just make sure the writing's the right way round. I'm making sure. Are you kidding me? Okay, I've decorated this one, but it's not going to work for this because the magnet's up there. This is the one that the magnet's down the bottom for. So now this is completely upside down. Okay. Okay. I can fix that. It's a waste of a magnet, but I can fix it. I'm going to turn the magnet around. Then we'll have two magnets. Well, there we go. Doesn't matter. I'm going to add a magnet down there. But that's kind of done there. Maybe bring in another one right there. No, that'll do. That'll do for now. And then let's get on to the front here. And I want a little bit, maybe a bit more of this, like so. Ink that up. It can go down there. We can also have, I do want some of this, so this is some kind of wallpaper scrap. If I want it above it, or do I want it underneath a little bit? I feel like underneath a little bit. And then I have this kind of fun number. It's off some packaging. I think I sent Tiff one of these too, but I'm not sure. That can go there. I feel like we definitely need something behind that. Again, we could bring in some lace so that we have some of that on there. Like so. That works brilliantly. Let me glue all that down. Okay, so they are done. I've already fixed the magnet. I've put another one in there. You didn't need to see me do it because you've seen me do it already. That is all fixed. And what I want to do now is I want to attach these with some fabric. Let me grab some. Rip a little bit off. Just want to attach with some fabric. Let's measure this. So cut about there. At the top. I'm going to fray this really nicely because I love a bit of fraying. This is going to go over like that, over the top. And I'm also going to add a little bit of this on top as well. So let's do that. So I think this works well. I might trim it a little bit, just a smidge. Here. Yep. Okay. And then that is going to go into the middle. There. So I'm going to stitch around there. And then I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to have to open this up. I'm going to stitch it across here. And I'm going to stitch it across there. Okay, so let me show you. I've done it like that. And because this is open, don't forget to open the actual flap of the envelope, and you may have to trim a little bit of the fabric, but then it should all fit together quite nicely, like so. And this will literally fit over a page in your journal. You can see with the magnet, that's not going to fall off. You can tuck something, let me grab something. You can tuck something in between it and you will see it through there. You can tuck something the other side. We have an envelope bit we can open and then hidden writing space. So that is the first one. I'm going to finish the other mushroom one and then we're going to get on to the Gothic one. Okay, so we're on to the Gothic ones and I've done a wonky stitch. I was going to do a stitch all the way around and then I decided like around the image and around the outside and I decided against it. I'm bringing in those botanicals again because I think it'll work on here too. Just in the background a little bit like so, and again on here. There's less space for stamping on this one because the image is wider. So we have her, sorry if she keeps moving, and behave child. And I'm going to use, I cut this out of the lovely black glitter paper that Tiff sent me, so I want to use this on here as well. Let me just pat off some of that glue. Oh no, I tell you, that really spooky dude one, he really is not, he's doing his best to be a problem. I'm going to leave the flowers over the side. Now, they are white on the other side, but I don't mind that one because we haven't got as much space. So, like, you're not going to be looking at the other side as much on these ones. And I wanted a moth on here because, you know, I've been using moths a lot on my makes. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of the lace. This is literally, I think, the last I have of this. I've been using it in so many of these makes, but I kind of love it. So I want to bring that on, and I want the moth to be kind of sideways on like that. Again, there's not a lot of room on the front of this to decorate, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I'm going to put the moth on there. I was wondering actually about bringing in some thread. Let's bring in some of the brown. I'm sorry if this is a bit chaotic, this video. Honestly, I've had to stop it so many times because there's just other things that have cropped up, and it's just meant that it's keep having to stop and start and stuff. There we go, we get that up. I think that looks beautiful. I also have one of these little things that I love using these. I was wondering about bringing it in there. Oh yes, that goes so well there. And I think I made it on some like paper that had, oh my gosh, my moth needs to be stuck, some sort of gold shimmer on it. I really don't know if that's catching in the light. I really hope it is. If not, I'll just have to come on and add. Okay, so is this her? I think this is her. Now these are completely closed, but what I want to do with this, so if she's on a page, it'll be this way. What I want to do is I want to open up the edge of this because, no, that's the magnet. Yeah, so I'm opening up this edge because I want it to have space to have a little pocket in there, which means this now needs gluing. So you have a little side pocket. Also here, where'd that paper go to? Have some of this dyed paper, and I just want to add a little bit for some writing space. I don't want to cover up this beautiful grunge on the back too much. Let's get black soot on this. Like so. So we have the magnet there. We have a tuck spot here. Might need to glue that down. I'm not putting anything in that tuck spot right now, but it will have a tuck spot. And then we're going to put a pocket on the back. And on the back is where I think I want a bit more stamping. So I'm going to do that on the back. And I do think I'm going to come in, but this time I'm going to do it in black. That's what I think is going to happen, so that you see it a bit more behind the pocket. So yeah, I still hope you get plenty of inspiration, even if I feel like the video itself is a bit, please have a good impression. The stamps work great. Oh yes, it's just obviously, like I've said, it's the fact that I'm using it's on a lot of inked paper. And I was just wondering, actually, as we have a moth, I might bring in, oh my goodness me, I might bring in a little moth. Where are you? There you are. This is from a Tim Holtz kit. Okay, where's the acrylic block? Actually, that's not even sticking to the acrylic block. Oh, the joy of not taking care of your stamps. There we go. And I'm going to bring the moth in just at an angle there. Okay. Perfect. Oh my gosh, those scales everywhere. Right, now what I want to do is I want to do a double pocket. I have some scrapbook paper here. I'm going to trim this down. So it's going to be a double pocket on the back of this one. Oh no, I've got ink all over me. Hold on. That's a little bit better. And then I'm just going to measure this. I think I want it slightly smaller than the envelope, but I don't know because I have a piece that needs to go on top of it. No, it's going to have to be the size of the envelope. So, okay. Well, that's okay. Let's really mark that so I can see it. This is some scrapbook paper, so it's nice and thick. And I feel like I want to round these edges a little bit just to make them look a bit nicer. And let's black soot this up too. This will go on the back. Let's make sure it's the right way round, shall we? Because the way this video is going today, it could go upside down, and we don't want that. We're not seeing a lot of that flower, but we're seeing enough. And then I have this. I think it's a Tim Holtz piece that was in my stash. So I'm going to use this as the second pocket on the back here, like so. And if I have to trim the ends a little bit, yeah, that just needs a bit of a trim there. Being careful not to cut the envelope. Like so. So we've got some writing space there that definitely needs something added. Tuck spot there, pocket here, pocket there. And we are going to fit these together. Oh, that moth still needs to stick. So I need to grab some fabric. Okay, so she is all stitched on. The moth still needs to stick. It's going to take a little bit of time. But I love how that looks. And I've done the others. So let me bring on first the mushroom ones, because these are how they all look. I think they look amazing. I'm sorry this video might have been all over the place. I promise you, I don't always do this, but this is the one we made on camera. And as I showed you, it goes over a page in your journal like that, giving you a tuck spot underneath both sides. There's then tuck spot in there and then writing space. This is the other mushroom one I did. I love this. I love this here. We have another piece of writing on there, lots of decoration. And again, you have a space you can open here. I've done a little bit of decoration. I feel like it needs more, but these aren't meant to be completely finished pieces. Let's turn it over this way. So again, it's magnetized. You have a tuck spot. Let's do that like that. You have a tuck spot here, a tuck spot here. There's a little tuck spot there. And obviously there's a space to write. Then we have our creepies. Dun, 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 dun. So she would go on like that. Let's try and get this magnet to attach to itself. So I'm trying to get the fabric on. There we go. So she attaches like that. Anything you put behind her, you are going to see. And then she'll look like a ghost, which is amazing. I love that. So we have this on here, still waiting for the moth to dry. We have our double pocket here. We have, let's not forget, a tuck spot in here that you can put a nice little tab. Why is that not going all the way in? Because I need to glue that bit. You've got a tuck spot there. And just like in the other one, you have hidden writing space. Now let me show you Scary Dude. I've done a much larger moth here with lots of thread. I kind of like that. Oh, and I did do some stamping with the word poison. This is a little label I made. It says bones. Got lots of stitching on there. We have just the one pocket here using some Tim Holtz pieces. But again, just like in our other one, we have a tuck spot there. And if I open this very carefully, because the moth still needs to dry, there is writing space. And once again, he goes on your journal page like that. So you'll have a fabric tab coming out of the top. You've got a tuck spot here. Again, anything you put behind him, you are going to see. You turn it over, you have your little tuck spot here, you have a pocket here, and you have your writing space. And even though this video was a bit chaotic, I absolutely love how these have come together. My only issue with these ones is that we can't see a lot of that coffee staining, but we can see some of it in areas. I may even come in and add a little bit more here, but we can definitely see it on the mushroom ones. So let's remember again, our prompt was... This video feels like it's been going on for 24 hours, and I think that's because I've been having to stop so often. Altered envelope and coffee mug stains. So we have turned our altered envelope into an over the page kind of decorative tuck spot hidden writing space / bookmark piece of ephemera. Oh my goodness me, it's just fun and decorative. And because I've used acetate or tracing paper, we get that beautiful kind of translucent kind of feel as well, especially with these spooky ones. Anyway, guys, I've reached the end of the video. Yay! I will just say throughout this video, when you haven't been seeing me, when I've been making the things, I've been eating quite a few of these Starbursts. I really needed them today. But that's it. I can just relax and wait for my daughter to appear, turn up, and yes, that's it. Brilliant. But I hope you like these. You can easily make these with either, if you've got tiny envelopes or just actual pieces of paper and card, you can do it with that. So yes, and you don't have to use acetate. You could just use a really pretty printed image or cut image or like a magazine image on there. You don't need the acetate, but you can still get that over the page tab with hidden pockets, writing space, and all that good stuff in it. I've used quite a lot of bits from Tiff in here, which is brilliant. They're lovely and grungy. They need some splattering. I am looking at my ephemera pieces and realizing that quite a few of them need splattering. I'm really struggling with the idea of not finishing pieces. So anyway, but I have got 4 wonderful pieces for future journals. Yay! And I got through this video in one piece. Yay! So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, share, and comment if you want more of this creative chaos. My videos aren't usually this chaotic. But until next time, wherever you are in the world, I'm literally smiling. I hope you're having lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye for now.